The Atram Alpha Opportunity Fund Incorporated has one mission: to look for the winners of tomorrow. The fund actively finds the fastest-growing Philippine companies with high-quality management and sound business strategies. This growth has often translated to higher stock prices. The fund has a proven track record of selecting companies outside the Philippine Stock Exchange Index that were eventually included in major indices, while most funds in the market stay within the Philippines' top 30 companies. This has led the fund to consistently outperform the market in the long term. Furthermore, the fund invests in long-term drivers of growth that could provide significant gains for investors, such as technological advancement, tourism, infrastructure, and sustainability. Invest in the potential of the best growth stories the Philippines has to offer. Invest in the Atram Alpha Opportunity Fund Incorporated. For more information, visit www.atram.com.ph.
We Filipinos still have a long way to go when it comes to investing for the future. We seem to prioritize instant gratification, but I think
then leave better tomorrow.
Besides, investing shouldn't be scary, you know. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. I mean, I started when I was a teen. I hope that I inspire my kids that when they're old enough, they'll tell me that they're excited to do the same.
What's important is to find a good reason to invest. It becomes so much easier when you visualize your goal.
People think I travel so much, and I have a YOLO or you only live once attitude. But the truth is, I travel because that's my business, and I make sure I invest in it, spend time for it, to give people the best experiences they deserve.
When people find out that they invest for what I'm passionate about, they always say, "What?" But I always just tell them that I can afford to fund my passions because of my investments.
the thing is, some people are just too shy to ask for financial advice. Like asking for help is seen as a sign of weakness, when in fact, it's through asking that we learn the best way of doing things, even in investing. With Atram, you can engage and be confident that you have a partner in achieving your financial goals.
People usually think investing means buying a house or retiring. Sure it can, but saving for smaller goals is another way to do it.
People think investing is expensive. Nowadays, even with a small amount of money, you can already begin your investment with Atram. It's easy to make it a monthly or even a weekly routine. Atram makes investing simple, even for busy moms like me.
And even if you're always on the go, like me, you can keep an eye on your investments online. Plus, I'm confident that Atram, my trusted partner, will take care of my portfolio and make sure it gets invested in the right place.
Never settle for average. Why? Because life is what we make it, and a strong investment partner can help us live the life we want.
Atram is dedicated to delivering an investment experience that helps people get more out of life. In fact, it was built with that single focus, to help clients attain their investment objectives. We see Filipinos invest in their dreams and aspirations. With Atram, building the future is a task we can surely take on.
With Atram,
You
Can take on tomorrow.
The Atram Alpha Opportunity Fund Incorporated has one mission: to look for the winners of tomorrow. The fund actively finds the fastest-growing Philippine companies with high-quality management and sound business strategies. This growth has often translated to higher stock prices. The fund has a proven track record of selecting companies outside the Philippine Stock Exchange Index that were eventually included in major indices, while most funds in the market stay within the Philippines' top 30 companies. This has led the fund to consistently outperform the market in the long term. Furthermore, the fund invests in long-term drivers of growth that could provide significant gains for investors, such as technological advancement, tourism, infrastructure, and sustainability. Invest in the potential of the best growth stories the Philippines has to offer. Invest in the Atram Alpha Opportunity Fund Incorporated. For more information, visit www.atram.com.ph.
We Filipinos still have a long way to go when it comes to investing for the future. We seem to prioritize instant gratification, but I think how to invest properly is something that we all need to be familiar with.
It's simple, really. You work today, you invest, then leave better tomorrow.
Besides, investing shouldn't be scary, you know. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. I mean, I started when I was a teen. I hope that I inspire my kids that when they're old enough, they'll tell me that they're excited to do the same.
What's important is to find a good reason to invest. It becomes so much easier when you visualize your goal.
People think I travel so much, and I have a YOLO or you only live once attitude. But the truth is, I travel because that's my business, and I make sure I invest in it, spend time for it, to give people the best experiences they deserve.
When people find out that they invest for what I'm passionate about, they always say, "What?" But I always just tell them that I can afford to fund my passions because of my investments.
The thing is, some people are just too shy to ask for financial advice. Like asking for help is seen as a sign of weakness, when in fact, it's through asking that we learn the best way of doing things, even in investing. With Atram, you can engage and be confident that you have a partner in achieving your financial goals.
People usually think investing means buying a house or retiring. Sure, it can, but saving for smaller goals is another way to do it.
People think investing is expensive. Nowadays, even with a small amount of money, you can already begin your investment with Atram. It's easy to make it a monthly or even a weekly routine. Atram makes investing simple, even for busy moms like me.
And even if you're always on the go, like me, you can keep an eye on your investments online. Plus, I'm confident that Atram, my trusted partner, will take care of my portfolio and make sure it gets invested in the right place.
Never settle for average. Why? Because life is what we make it. And a strong investment partner can help us live the life we want.
Atram is dedicated to delivering an investment experience that helps people get more out of life. In fact, it was built with that single focus, to help clients attain their investment objectives. We see Filipinos invest in their dreams and aspirations. With Atram, building the future is a task we can surely take on.
With Atram,
You
Can take on tomorrow.
The Atram Alpha Opportunity Fund Incorporated has one mission: to look for the winners of tomorrow. The fund actively finds the fastest growing Philippine companies with high quality management and sound business strategies. This growth has often translated to higher stock prices. The fund has a proven track record of selecting companies outside the Philippine Stock Exchange Index that were eventually included in major indices, while most funds in the market stay within the Philippines' top 30 companies. This has led the fund to consistently outperform the market in the long term. Furthermore, the fund invests in long-term drivers of growth that could provide significant gains for investors, such as technological advancement, tourism, infrastructure, and sustainability. Invest in the potential of the best growth stories the Philippines has to offer. Invest in the Atram Alpha Opportunity Fund Incorporated. For more information, visit www.atram.com.ph.
We Filipinos still have a long way to go when it comes to investing for the future. We seem to prioritize instant gratification, but I think how to invest properly is something that we all need to be familiar with.
it's simple, really. You work today, you invest, then leave better tomorrow.
Besides, investing shouldn't be scary, you know. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. I mean, I started when I was a teen. I hope that I inspire my kids that when they're old enough, they'll tell me that they're excited to do the same.
What's important is to find a good reason to invest. It becomes so much easier when you visualize your goal.
People think I travel so much, and I have a YOLO or you only live once attitude. But the truth is, I travel because that's my business, and I make sure I invest in it, spend time for it, to give people the best experiences they deserve.
When people find out that they invest for what I'm passionate about, they always say, "What?" But I always just tell them that I can afford to fund my passions because of my investments.
The thing is, some people are just too shy to ask for financial advice. like asking for help is seen as a sign of weakness, when in fact, it's through asking that we learn the best way of doing things, even in investing. With Atram, you can engage and be confident that you have a partner in achieving your financial goals.
People usually think investing means buying a house or retiring. Sure, it can, but saving for smaller goals is another way to do it.
People think investing is expensive. Nowadays, even with a small amount of money, you can already begin your investment with Atram. It's easy to make it a monthly or even a weekly routine. Atram makes investing simple, even for busy moms like me.
And even if you're always on the go, like me, you can keep an eye on your investments online. Plus, I'm confident that Atram, my trusted partner, will take care of my portfolio and make sure it gets invested in the right place.
Never settle for average. Why? Because life is what we make it. And a strong investment partner can help us live the life we want.
Atram is dedicated to delivering an investment experience that helps people get more out of life. In fact, it was built with that single focus, to help clients attain their investment objectives. We see Filipinos invest in their dreams and aspirations. With Atram, building the future is a task we can surely take on.
With Atram,
You
Can take on tomorrow.
Hello, good evening to everyone. Welcome to another live stream. And as promised, we will be having live streams every month on topics that I think really matter and really important. Of course, it's about finance, personal finance. I'm really excited for a session tonight because I'm going to be learning from a good friend of mine, an expert. Before we do that, I hope that you've been learning. I hope that you've been, again, staying dry. If you're from Manila, it's been raining. And just some news, diba? 6.4, inflation is 6.4. Last month, it was higher than expected. It continues to be high at 6.4. People were saying, and they're messaging me, sabi sa Facebook ko, sir, parang hindi nga 6.4. As far as we're concerned, it's like 20-30%. No, and you do that. I just wanted the grocery and kahit na gawin ko pagtitipid, no, it's hard for me to be able to stay on budget, and that's going to be a challenge, no. It's again, and how is that going to have an impact on your investment? Interest rates are rising. UK just increase again their interest rate, no, so parang pinaparallel nila sa US, and tayo din, no, we just had an increase also, and the BSP said that we can experience more increases in the interest rates, no, and this is driven by inflation. Of course, I don't want to do an economics training here, but syempre lang what ginagawa po ng mga governments, no, when inflation goes up, they begin to raise interest rates, no, to remove, excess liquidity in the market, which can fuel the inflation further. So, and that's going to have an impact, no, on your investment, on the stock market, on mutual funds, and even on property, no. So those are the things that we want to talk to you about tonight. But before we do that, no, okay lang ba mag-shout out kasi I saw that there's over 100 people here in the stream, and usually it kind of increases as we go forward. So I'd like to say hi to France of Dubai. Kaya may mga tayo nakikinig sa Dubai. I think if it's 8 o'clock, it's about 4 p.m. there on a Friday afternoon. I guess you're at work, okay? So from France in Dubai, we have somebody, although another si Leechiu from Dubai also, no? Thank you, no? Thank you. Mas marami pa yatang taga-abroad na nanonood ngayon, no? Kasi sa Pilipinas. Okay, we have Marky from Israel. Okay, saan ka ba? Tel Aviv ka ba? Jerusalem ka ba? Okay, nasaan ka ba? So, again, I'd like to say hi to all of you. Kung saan ka man, no? Please tell us where you are. Hi to some guys, no? Oh, some of these are my friends, si Arwen. And we have Ronald from Saudi Arabia. Okay, so I'm reading. Saudi Arabia, okay. Sa Riyadh ka ba? Okay. Sama sa Saudi Arabia. And of course, sabi nila, excited to learn. Really, really excited for you to do that. Again, if you're from, regardless of where you are, whether you're from the Middle East or Singapore or dito ka lang, no, along Metro Manila or in our Philippine provinces, sabi niya, post nyo lang so we can do a shout out. Oh, we have Pablo from Deira in Dubai. Okay, nasa Deira in Dubai. Okay, yan. Ito, si Ace from Das Marinas. Cavite to, no? Dasmariñas, Cavite, okay? So we have from Mindoro also, si Van. Okay? Wow, ano ba ibig sabihin ng milestone follower? Okay, so thank you, no? Thank you for queuing in. Again, I would like to say hi to all of you. Really, really, really excited for tonight's session. You know, ano lang, backup lang, inflation is 6.4, 56, 55, 56 ang dollar. Our studies are showing that the dollar is not going to get any lower anytime soon. So may advantage, may disadvantage for the OFWs. No, I think anything that you buy now from the Philippines, including property, will be cheaper. No, I just came from Dubai. It's now at 15.2 to a dirham to a peso. Sorry, 15.2 peso to a dirham. Used to be somewhere like 11.50 to 12. So if you're from the Middle East, particularly in Dubai, Qatar, anything you buy from the Philippines is about 30% cheaper. So imagine mo, you're buying a property now at 30% cheaper if you're using your money there. So again, that's good. So Jofer from Iloilo, I'll be there next, tama ba? The week, teka, tano na ba ngayon? The week after next, I'll be in Iloilo. So, and yan, Karen from Bacolod, I'll be there next month. If anyone from Singapore, I'll be there in October. Grabe, no? Para akong traveling salesman. No? So I'll be in Singapore in October. Might go back to Dubai in October or January. We're planning on those things. Okay, kung saan ka man, we might if East West Batangas. Okay, meron pang advertisement, no. Okay, you're for East West Batangas daw sila. Okay, again, so regardless where you are, salamat, no. So again, please do share our live stream, no. It's being streamed in Facebook and my YouTube channel, also in the channels of Atram, no. Our Dennis of Singapore, I'll be there October 8th. I have a program on October 8th, and I think October 10th I'll be in Batam, Indonesia. So been traveling, going to travel again. So ayan, SG. So Laura May Giliego, I know you. Okay, I'll see you there in Singapore in October. Ayon Gonzaga, also known as Boy Dubai. Okay, you're tuned in. Salamat Ayon, no, for always supporting. We have Tess from watching from Hong Kong. Parang mas marami pa tayo taga-abroad ngayon nanonood sa atin. Ano? Okay, nice. And I'm sure you're curious as to what's going on. And again, in a few minutes, we're going to start our discussion with that. Again, we also have from Paseo de Magallanes Commercial. Okay, si Annabelle. Okay, so ayan. So yun. So I'll be in announcement. I'll be in Hong Kong. Sorry, not in Hong Kong. Sarado pa. I'll be in Singapore, I'll be in Indonesia, I'll be in Dubai, I'll be in Bacolod, I'll be in Dubai, Bacolod, I'll be in Iloilo, I'll be in Surigao, and I'll be in, next week I'll be in Jensan. Kung may mga taga Jensan dito. So, who knows, we might bump into each other, no? So let me know. I have some sessions for the OFW in Jensan, Surigao, Iloilo, and Bacolod. So if you're an OFW or a relative of an OFW or OFW family, let me know. I can get you in the events that I'm going to be featured in the next 2 months, going around and also, no. Okay, so ayan, OFW Power, share na lang yung live. Again, so again, request ko lang, pa-share nyo po ito, itong ating live stream. You're going to be learning a lot from our esteemed guest, no. So medyo warning lang, ma-English po yung guest natin mamaya. So I'll try to translate it, no? I'll try to translate everything afterwards. So, but really full of information. We're gonna be learning a lot from this guy. This guy is our go-to person when it comes to property. In fact, when it comes to property, 80%, 90% of what I believe is coming from him. So medyo, and I wait for his update. And we've featured him in our previous not live streams, but Zoom sessions and even YouTube. But tonight we're going to be going for live stream. Live po ito, no? Live na live. Again, we have Mary of Germany. Okay, from Germany. Okay, so again, si Nick Pe is also for listening. Meron pang, grabe, no? Ano ito mga lumalabas? Anniversary follower. Ano kaya ito? So I just read it, no? I'm just reading it from my text, no? Okay, so again, thank you for coming in the session. A little bit of announcements lang. So before I formally start, I just like to I'm gonna be sharing this, and I'm gonna be sharing this again in a while. Okay, so So there's some announcements that I want to share with. Okay, so ito, no? So on October, sorry. On October, sorry, ano ba to? September 24, I'm gonna be having a live conference. The program is called Unbox Success. Our focus will be hustling, crypto, investments, and more. So medyo non-traditional way of doing it. I think in the property, we'll talk about different ways of doing it. No, we're gonna be featuring great people. I learn a lot from them. They're in a one way my mentors. We have Mr. Chase Freo, talk about NFTs and gaming and how to be able to make money out of it. Crypto expert Tony Herbosa of TAP, friend of mine for over 30 years. Of course, the serial digital entrepreneur Carlo Ople is going to be featured also in the program, myself and our friend Thea C. Bautista, one of our younger, not naman younger influencer in finance, and she's going to be talking about, I think she's going to talk about something about properties also. And then we're also going to feature fireside chats and discussions with, parang influencers like Nicole Alba, Charm, Antoinette Aquino. Marami sila. No? I hope I can remember all of them, but many of them are my students. No? So we're going to feature with them. We're going to also feature mga flippers or mga those who are doing flippers in cards and rubber shoes and whatever thing that you can make. So the whole idea is non-traditional investing. Of course, this is presented also by Atram, supported by PDAX and among others. No, we're partnering with them. Live po ito. We're gonna be coming up with our registration link soon. It's gonna be at Samsung Hall, whole day po, 9 to 6 at the Samsung Hall in SM Ora in Taguig. All right. Also, if you can come up with more discussions with us. I have a no nonsense personal finance Facebook group. You can please join that also. You can post questions there. We'll try to answer. I have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Lately, I've been also uploading in TikTok. No? Okay, tumawa, but hindi ako sumasayaw doon. No? I don't do the jiggle dance there. But I upload short form videos that are helpful. So please do subscribe, do follow Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm putting up more short content. And YouTube, beginning next week or 2 weeks, I'm gonna have a new show called Unboxing Success, wherein I unbox, successful people, their stories. Maybe you can have their speaker here also. I'm gonna try to unbox his secrets. No, it's gonna be coming out soon. Again, really excited for a lot of initiatives that we're gonna be having. Okay, so again, please follow also our sponsor for tonight and. They're kind of committed with me in the next 4 more months with these live streams. Si Atram, one of my favorite financial investment companies. So they have Atram Studio in YouTube, Atram Asset Management in Facebook, they have Atram PH in Instagram, and also Atram Asset Management in LinkedIn. So do follow them. Scan, okay? Marami po sila, particularly their YouTube. I'm featured in some of them. So again, this is also streaming their live also. We're gonna do that again. They also have a Viber community so they can keep updated on what's going on. So again, shout out to my friends in Atram again. So yeah, so we're really looking forward to our session tonight and to introduce our maganda ngayon. Good news is hindi ako masyado ang magtuturo ngayon. I'm just gonna interact, but I'm gonna give the floor to my good friend David Leechiu. Is one of the ang hirap niya i-introduce he's the go-to person. He runs the largest property brokerage company in the country, and really not just the largest. It's the people look up to him. And when you go around BGC, go everywhere, you also see this ubiquitous blue sign that says Leechiu. That's the guy behind it, and really amazing. And not just this is his heart to continue to share. Like this guy practices what he preaches. He's gonna share about property, what's going on. Everybody likes to hear from him. They go after him. Medyo mahirap imbitahin kasi mahirap ang schedule. But I'm really so grateful that every time I invite him, he kind of finds time for this session. So maybe we can put David. So David, so again, David. See David looks like you've been going out more and more and more. I think Is that your office in your background?
I'm in the office, Rado. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction, and thank you for having me in your show again. It's really an honor to be here.
Yan. So really looking forward to David. There's a lot of questions, and I know, but just in hindsight, what's the latest with you? I know you've been going around. Ano na tayo? Mid-year. Lampas na tayo ng mid-year. What's been going on? Has the update changed a little bit, or I know you're gonna give us an insight, no? But quick lang before I turn over to you. What's the latest thing happening in the property sector now?
I guess exciting kasi a big portion of the investor market in the Philippines are hedging in real estate to offset inflation.
Yeah.
So may cycles na ganun eh. There's some investors that are saying, oh, inflation is going up, so the best thing I can do is put it in real estate. It's simple, sit on it, and you reap the benefits over the long term. And then excited sila dahil number one, because of the BBM presidency, solid yung voting, yung electoral base ni BBM. It's the most number of votes that any president has had in 40 years. And it's really translating to political capital. And that political capital is translating to making many things happen at a faster rate.
Wow.
And the economic team is fantastic. A lot of confidence in the economic team. And I just came from the post-SONA economic briefing. At ang hirap hindi maging optimistic, talagang inspiring yung ambitions ng government. And I think kahit kalahati lang yung magawa nila doon, malaking progress ang nangyari, even if kalahati lang.
All right. Wow. So we're really looking forward to. I realized that high inflation favors hard assets, no? So we're seeing that. Pahirap bumili ng property now. But again, turn you over, no, David. Really looking forward to your updating. So I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna kung game ka pa, no? We're gonna be picking up a lot of questions. We are live, by the way. It's not recorded. Buhay po si David dito talaga. It's really live. No, we're gonna be picking up your questions. So again, just be ready with your questions. But let's allow David to come up with this presentation. So David, take it away.
Fernando, you want me to just go through the slides and then we can do interactive later?
Yeah, sige. Present your slides and then I'm gonna come in and start asking you questions about your presentation.
Okay. Thank you. So let's get to it. I guess ngayon ang daming problema ng mundo, no? I mean, year 2020, 2021, akala natin isa lang yung problema ng mundo, which is COVID. Ngayon, ang dami ng problema, from inflation to interest rate hikes to currency crisis, Ukraine war, food shortage, global warming, ano pa ba? Logistics crisis na nag-translate to higher cost of goods and commodities, and oil spiking, and that's partly driving inflation. So ang dami talagang mamahalong gulo sa mundo. And actually this validates na it's so good to be in the Philippines. And I'm not just saying that because if you compare what's going on in the world versus the Philippines is really being insulated from a lot of these problems. Yes, ang taas ng inflation dito. Yes, tumataas talaga yung bilihin, tinatamaan talaga yung mga mahihirap, the most vulnerable people in this crisis. This is really a crisis of the poor. The COVID crisis is the crisis of the poor, and this one is a crisis of the poor. Pero despite that, meron dalawang bagay na nag-insulate sa Philippine economy. Ang una ko is yung overseas remittances, which you all know is the safety net of this country. And to prove that point, lahat ho ng financial institutions gaya ng World Bank, IMF, Citibank, HSBC, lahat sila nagsabi over the course of 20 years na babagsak po yung remittances dahil sa mga crisis na nangyari sa mundo. Pero kahit na anong sabi nilang ganon, yung remittances patuloy na umaakyat. And to the point na nung year 2000, $5 billion lang yung remittances. And today, it is $35 billion na unbroken yung pag-akyat nung remittances every year. And dalawa kong sabihin nung bakit ganun yung pag-akyat. The first one is, I think because ang galing talaga ng talent ng Pinoy na yung global market of employers, talagang mas gusto nila ang Pinoy talent at ang work ethic at ang malasakit ng Pinoy. Marami akong nakausap ng turista at ang talagang pagkakaiba ng Filipino is yung malasakit sa trabaho at sa mga kasama sa trabaho. And that sets us apart. Pangalawa ko is that I guess as overseas Filipinos working abroad, medyo every time na may crisis at alam natin may crisis, gumagawa tayo ng paraan para lang kumita ng mas malaking pera para magpadala ng mas malaking pera back home. Lalo na sa every time na may crisis, mas maraming mga kamag-anak na nangangailangan, mas lumalakas ko yung boses nila sa paghingi ng tulong at yun ang kaya every time na may crisis, lalong lumalaki yung padala pabalik sa Pilipinas. And I think that's a very human thing to do, no? Na when there's a crisis, we just work harder and send more money home. So that's the first one. The second insulator sa Philippines is yung BPO industry. Tinatawag nating business process outsourcing and offshoring and IT industry of the Philippines. And excited ako kasi itong mga problema ng mundo, mag-reproduce lang yan ng more jobs sa Philippines because as the world goes into crisis, more and more jobs will be created in the Philippines. At ito yung mga call centers, ito yung mga shared services na pumapasok dito. Software development, HR, IT, etc. Ang example po nito ay companies katulad ng JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citibank, HSBC. Every year po, nagka-cut sila ng cost. And every time they cut cost, nililipat nila yung trabaho from, let's say, the US or UK or Australia at nililipat dito sa Pilipinas. To the point na JP Morgan has 17,000 to 20,000 employees in the Philippines. Citibank has 8,000. Standard Chartered has 4,000, 5,000. Amazon has 5,000, 8,000 people. And palaki ng palaki ho yung employee base nila dito. In year 2000, year 2003, year 2005, kung may problema yung Philippines, I don't think people will really care so much. Pero today, sobrang importante yung Philippines sa pagtakbo ng global companies. Because today, yung headcount po ng marami, karamihan sa mga companies na to, ang daming employees dito sa Philippines. In the tens of thousands. At ngayon na may crisis sa mundo, lalo pa sila nagpapadala ng employees dito. So, dumadami po ang new jobs created dito sa Philippines because of the global crisis. Because more companies are cutting costs at binubukas dito sa Philippines yung mga trabaho. Nililipat dito sa Philippines yung mga trabaho. But to prove that point and to validate that point, in year 2021, yung BPO industry po ay nag-generate ng 120,000 new jobs sa Philippines. Just in the BPO sector and just direct jobs. Hindi pa po kasama yung indirect jobs. And isa po yan sa mga record years ng Philippine BPO industry. And that's because of the crisis that's going on in the world. But I'm also very excited about a very small part of the economy, which is tourism, which I think will be the biggest industry of the Philippines within 10 years. At ito yung tourism industry. Because nagbabago na po yung experience of coming into the Philippines. At sobra akong excited sa Clark Airport. Ngayon, in the last 15 years, we built about 12 new airports all over the Visayas and Mindanao and Palawan. Marami pong hindi nakakaalam nun, pero we have built 12 to 15 new airports in the last 15 years. Almost all of this is in between Palawan, Visayas, and Mindanao. At bagong-bago na yung experience ng Pilipinas. And if you don't know what I mean, subukan mo yung lumipad sa Puerto Princesa, sa Panglao. Pumunta ka sa Panglao, sa Puerto Princesa, sa Boracay, sa Iloilo, sa Davao, Cagayan de Oro, Coron, El Nido, lahat po ito bagong airports at ang ganda-ganda ng airport, lalo na yung Mactan Airport. Sobrang akong inggit sa mga tao sa Cebu. Kasi yung Cebu Mactan Airport is probably the best airport we have in the Philippines. Ang ganda ko at sobrang inspiring yung airport sa Mactan. Sobrang inspiring yung airport sa Panglao. Sobrang inspiring yung airport sa Puerto Princesa. At magbubukas ho yung Clark, isang magandang airport sa Clark. At ito ho, ibabago ho yung experience ng tourism sa Philippines. At to the point na pwede na ninyong i-bypass yung Manila. Hindi na kayo kailangan dumaan at mag-land at mag-hassle sa NAIA para pumasok at labas ng Pilipinas. Pwede ka na dumiretso sa Clark and from Clark, pwede ka na mag-drive going north or going south. Mas mabilis pa ho to land in Clark, go up the Skyway diretso sa Manila or sa Alabang dahil yung Skyway ho from Balintawak hanggang Alabang na ngayon. And then, from Clark, pwede na ho kayong lumipad to many points of the Philippines. Meron mga direct flights na all over the Visayas at Palawan and Davao and Cagayan de Oro. So you can totally bypass Manila. And walang hassle, sobrang walang hassle. At sobrang ganda ng mga roads. And so that will change tourism experience for foreigners. At dadami ho yung mga foreigners because of that dito. And then, hindi lang ho yun. Marami hong infrastructure projects na ginagawa ngayon na matatapos in the next 2 to 3 years. Trains from Leechiu all the way to North Quezon City, matatapos na ho in the next 12-18 months. Yung Calax, which is one of the longest roads we have ever built, will be finished in the next 18 months. The subway of Makati, the Japanese-funded JICA subway of Metro Manila, traversing Makati all the way up to North EDSA, will also be completed within the next 4 years. May bago tayong airport na ginagawa with San Miguel, which will be finished in 7 years. All these things will change tourism, and it will make the Philippines a much bigger and better place to visit. To the point where I think it will be the biggest industry of the Philippines in the next 10 years. At hahamunin po niya yung industry ng tourism industry ng Thailand. And yung Thailand tourism ho, nag-generate ho yun ng 35 to 40 million visitors a year. Ang Pilipinas, 8 million pa lang in 2019. Tingin ko papalo ho yan from 8 million to eventually 30-40 million within 10 years. At i-rival natin yung industry ng Thailand. At malaki yun. It will be bigger than remittances, bigger than BPOs. Speaking pala of BPOs, in year 2000, only 1,000 direct employees ang employed sa BPO industry sa Philippines. Today, 1.5 million direct employees. At lumalaki pa, dumadami pa. And unlike some places in the world, like the US, we had actually peaceful, credible elections. Wala akong nag-challenge. Wala akong nag-attempt ng kudita. Walang nag-raid ng Capitol dito sa Philippines, unlike what happened in the US. And solid yung economic team, and everyone's excited. The Philippines maintained its credit rating. And in fact, during COVID, na-upgrade ho yung credit rating. And bakit importante yung credit rating? Because pag maganda ang credit rating, mas mababa ang interest rate sa Pilipinas. Pag bumaba ang credit rating, mamahal ho yung pera sa Pilipinas. Yung interest rates papalo. Yung interest rates ngayon na umaakyat, mas mabilis pang umakyat yung dapat kung hindi ganito ang ganda yung credit rating. But dahil maganda yung credit rating ng Pilipinas, mabagal ang pag-ahon ng interest rates. And the World Bank, the IMF continue to project that the Philippines will be one of the fastest growing economies in the world for the next 20-30 years. At ang growth rate na to is between 5 to 6.5% a year every year for the next 20 years. As incredible as that sounds. Next. At kung tingin nyo sobrang imposible yung sinasabi ko, ito ho yung charts. Tignan lang po ninyo year 2000 hanggang 2021 at yung movement ng remittances ng BPO industry, tourism, per capita income, Philippine Stock Exchange, at cement consumption. Ang paggamit ng ang amount ng cement na nakokonsume ng Pilipinas para magamit sa buildings and roads and infrastructure. At nangyari ko lahat to through all the problems the world went through, all the problems na pinagdaanan ng Pilipinas, whether it's political problems, weather problems, calamity problems, global economic problems, tuloy-tuloy ho ang paglago ng economy ng Philippines. Next. At dahil dito, ang dami nating natapos na townships sa Metro Manila. 52 townships, 53 townships and business parks so ang nagawa sa Philippines in the last 20 years at lahat po ito naubos. Konti na lang ang lupa na pwedeng tayuan ng bagong building sa mga business parks na to. At talagang nagbago na ang itsura ng Manila. Pero, next slide, hindi lang po sa Metro Manila ang action. Sa buong Pilipinas, so nagbabago na ang buong Pilipinas. Yung dating mga probinsya na walang sidewalk, walang ilaw sa gabi, walang mall, walang hospital, walang hotel na desente, walang mga condominiums, lahat ho yun nagtatayuan na sila lahat sa buong Pilipinas. Grabe ang development ngayon all over the Philippines. 130 IT parks, economic parks, economic zones, and tourism zones ang ginagawa ngayon sa buong Philippines. Yung numero sa triangle, sa loob ng triangle represents yung number of business parks in each of these provinces. Ang dami po all over. Walang na-skip na isla sa development. Next. And to talk about the office market, bakit ito importante yung office market? Kasi ito ho yung barometer ng job creation. Ang mga companies, pag nag-expand dito sa Philippines, nag-hire sila ng tao, syempre, kailangan nila kumuha ng office space para sa mga tao niyon. At ito ho yung movement ng office space sa buong Pilipinas. At nakita ko nyo, nag-i-increase pa rin po yung take-up ng office space kahit na may COVID, kahit na may lockdown, kahit ang daming problema na dinala sa atin ng COVID. At yung mga industries na nag-take up ng space sa Philippines are the BPO industry at saka mga conglomerates. And then yung POGO na wala po sila for almost 2 years pero pabalik na ho sila. Next. Ito ho yung sa left side ho yung by industry. 43% of the demand is coming from the BPO sector in the second quarter of 2022. And 90% of the demand went to Manila, 10% to the provinces. Sa Metro Manila naman, Makati at Bonifacio ang favorite destination ng mga office tenants. sa provinces po, Clark and Davao and other parts of Central Luzon. But of all the cities outside of Manila, ang pinaka nagbago talaga is Cebu, Iloilo, and Clark. Sa tatlong to, Iloilo is the most transformed city in the last 10 years. Talagang grabe ang pinagbago ng Iloilo. And if you have not been there recently, I would suggest you go. Kasi sobra na siyang transformed today. Next. This one tracks the amount of companies that want to take space sa markets all over the Philippines. And nakita ko nyo every quarter through COVID, bumababa siya, no? Pero after the fourth quarter of 2021, bigla siyang pumalo. This is the third highest volume of transactions that want to get done in the last 36 months. Next. So, kamusta ngayon yung land prices sa Philippines? Well, sa Metro Manila ho, unang paakyat ang land prices sa Philippines kahit na may COVID. Ang pinakamahal ko na lugar dito is Makati at Bonifacio. And kahit na may COVID crisis siya, umakyat pa rin siya ng 10, 12, 14% all over Metro Manila. Next. At ito po yung Bonifacio. Ang Bonifacio po today, 1 square meter of land is anywhere from 700,000 per square to as much as 1.5 million pesos per square meter. Depende po kung anong lugar at kung anong zoning ng property. But it could be as high as 1.5 million pesos per square meter of land. Dati po, yung same property na yan is only 80,000 in year 2003. Ngayon po, nabibenta na yan for 1.5 million pesos. At wala masyado nagbibenta ngayon. At ito yung prices ng land value sa Bonifacio in the last 20 years vis-a-vis the economy of the Philippines. Na yung GDP. Na kahit bumaba yung GDP ng Philippines, umaakit pa rin yung land prices ng BGC. Next. Meron pong bagong hybrid model which is yung REIT market, Real Estate Investment Trust. And this is important kasi tinatawag siyang hybrid dahil stock siya, pero lahat ng pagkakayari ng stocks niyan is property. Which is lahat ng kinikitang upa ng companies na to, dinidividend nila sa mga stockholders. So, kaya siya hybrid kasi parang you get the best of both worlds. Nakukuha mo yung capital appreciation at saka rental income and dividend flow ng mga assets na to. At ang mga paboritong mga REITs is Ayala REIT, Robinsons REIT, Mega World REIT, are the 3 top picks of many people. But of course you can also buy the Double Dragon REIT, the Fininvest REIT, the Citycore REIT, and the Vistaland REIT. They're all very good stocks at saka they've all been doing relatively well kasi even though some of these stocks are low now, yung index mas malaki kung yung binagsak kaysa sa yan. And then look at the Ayala REIT, it is still up 36%. Dati it was up 98%, 100%. Now it's up only 36%. It's still higher than the index. Next. And property is the best investment you can make in the Philippines for peso assets. At ito po yung history ng Forbes Spark prices in the last 60 years na kahit anong taas ng inflation at anong taas ng interest rates, umaakyat pa rin ang presyo ng lupa. At syempre, pababa yung interest rates, pabilis ng pag-akyat ng presyo ng Forbes Spark. And yes, umaakyat ngayon yung interest rates, pero nanggagaling po siya sa mababang presyo. ang interest rate ngayon is 5%, umakyat siya ng 6 or 7%. Pero sa mga 50-year-olds and above dito sa audience, baka natatandaan mo nyo na once upon a time yung interest rate sa Pilipinas is 18%, 20%, 25%. Minsan pumalo pa yan ng 40%. At yun yung nakikita ng spikes dyan sa charts na yan. At umakit ho yan pag every time na may problema sa Pilipinas, whether it's kudeta or political instability or big economic crisis. Pero kahit na mataas yung interest rates at mataas yung inflation, nakikita ko yung umaahon talaga ng mabilis yung property prices ng Forbes Park. At yan ang nangyari sa buong Pilipinas. Next. Over 60 years. Next. Ito yung residential condo markets sa Metro Manila. At nakikita ko nyo na yung blue are the number of projects na nilo-launch ng mga developers during COVID from January 2020 all the way to today. Buwababa ho siya. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Yung mga developers po, parang nagpipigil silang mag-develop at mag-launch ng bagong product. Kasi natatakot sila sa mga problema ngayon sa mundo. Pero yung orange line na yan, paakyat. Ang pinapakita niyan, yung mga tao, bumibili pa rin na bumibili kahit may crisis. So, ang prediction ko ho is that people should keep buying now. Kasi now na may crisis at medyo concerned yung mga developers, pinapalago ko nila yung payment terms para mas maraming tao maka-afford bumili. At yan ang nangyayari ngayon. Paakyat ng paakyat yung mga buyers. Dumadami yung mga buyers. Kahit na, kaya bumabagsak ko yung bagong launches at yung new supply. So maganda pa rin yung pace ng buying ng market kahit na may crisis. Next. At ito yung movement ng mga sales performance ng different price segments ng condominium market sa buong Metro Manila. Next. Nakita ko nyo, paakit na ho siya. Ngayon, itong side na to shows you 6 business districts. Bonifacio, Taguig, Makati, Alabang, Ortigas, and the Bay. Yung orange line shows you yung purchase price ng mga condominium units. And yung blue shows you yung rental rates. Kung magkano po yung pag-upa ng mga units na to. At nakita nyo na kahit bumagsak yung rental rates during COVID, ang tigas pa rin ng presyohan ng mga condominiums. Kahit na nag-contract at bumagsak yung rents. At ngayon paahon na yung rents. Bakit paahon na yung rents? Kasi yung mga expats at saka yung mga office tenants bumabalik na ho sa mga business districts. So it shows you na very resilient yung pricing power ng real estate kahit sa condominium. Kaya hindi ho totoo na yung sinasabi ng iba na bumili kayo ng hindi maganda bumili ng condo kasi bumababa yung presyo talaga ng condo. Hindi ho totoo yun. At yung information na to is a compilation of 585 buildings, different buildings, 334,000 different units. So, pinagsama-sama ho namin yan lahat at ito ho yung results. So, there are times na mayroong mga ibang-ibang units, maliliit na units, few units na bumabagsak yung presyo ng selling prices. Pero konti lang ho yun. Yung general market is still very steady and very stable. Next. At ito po yung different condominium projects all over Metro Manila across different developers, whether it's Robinsons, Mega World, Vista Land, Ayala, SM. At yung year of launch nila and yung percentage increase ng presyo ng mga properties na to. At yung average growth rate ng mga properties na to. And you can see every year the growth rates could be anywhere as low as 8% to as much as 17% per year. That's one of the fastest growing assets in the world. Appreciating this much over such a long period of time. And bakit ho yun nangyari? Because of all the money coming in from the remittances at saka sa PPO. Next. At hindi lang ho sa Metro Manila nangyari yan. It's all over the Philippines. Nakita nyo sa Bacolod, Cavite, Cebu, Iloilo, Laguna, Pampanga. Anywhere from 6%, low of 6% per annum to high of 18% per annum ang pag-akyat ng presyo ng mga condominiums na to. And so, in summary, the success story of the Philippines is not just about Metro Manila anymore. The success of the Philippine real estate industry is happening all throughout the Philippines. At this is driven by overseas remittances, PPO employment, tourism, and infrastructure development, plus the political capital of this administration that will continue the success of the previous Duterte administration. And I hope that nakatulong po itong seminar na to, and if you have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you very much, and thank you, Randall, again for having me.
Okay, thank you, David. No, so again, let's have the question. So, David, game ka ba for your question? Again, thank you. Talaga nagtagalog ka, no? You don't have to, but again, it's well appreciated. No? Okay, anyway, David and I are good friends. Okay, so again, so good question, let me find the first question, and which are your favorite REITs, diba? I mean, iba-iba sila, but you mentioned Ayala. Let's do a comparison. Ayala Land versus, let's say, DD REIT. Which one would be your pick and why?
Sorry, Ayala REIT or?
Yeah, Ayala REIT or DD REIT. Which will be your pick? Why?
I guess yung Ayala REIT dahil mas broad ho yung yung offering niya, yung footprint niya, yung building niya, and I guess it's an unfair comparison kasi Ayala talaga is the best brand.
Yeah.
In the Philippines. I mean, yung brand name ng Ayala is the strongest sa Philippines.
And I realized, I saw your chart, no? Yung, I don't know if I didn't see everything, but their appreciation, their property seems to appreciate faster than the others. More glaring than some developers.
Brand power talaga.
May brand power talaga. It matters, no? So I guess it matters. So when you're buying something, you take it. These are the things that you consider, no? Hindi lang. Of course, most of them are good locations, but the brand power also matter. Again, this is a good question. Why is it? I mean, property prices are increasing, but ultra luxury property prices like Dasma and Forbes are really crazy. I did a CAGR, I think a 40-year CAGR. It used to be something like 16. Now I think it's up by 18-19% on a straight CAGR for the last 40 years. What's up with that? What's up with these ultra high luxury properties?
Well, every time the per capita income grows, it translates to direct wealth for the upper class. At sila yung bumibili ng mga ultra luxury properties. So, yung pinakita kong chart kanina, Forbes Park, once upon a time, 2,000 pesos lang yan. Once upon a time, 600 pesos lang yan. Nung na-launch na 600 pesos lang yata eh. And then from 600 pesos in 1960, 1970, today it's about 450,000 pesos per square meter. So in year 2000, the typical Forbes Park is about 50-60 million pesos. Today, it is 1 billion pesos.
Yeah. A joke nga, if you have 100 billion, baka Ayala Alabang, di yung pa mabili, no? Something like that. Okay, so that's a crazy. Again, of course, not everybody can buy properties from there, but what was glaring was that during the pandemic, their property prices of Alabang, Dasma, Forbes, the Makati villages, the exclusive ones, were crazy. I mean, crazy high.
Yeah. Nag-appreciate yung Ayala Alawang, 60%. Punta Fuego, 300%. Forbes Park, Dasmariñas, 5-6%.
Okay. Wow, grabe lang. Okay. So we're now seeing changes. Now, by the way, shout out, I'll be in Iloilo in 2 weeks. So David, we were in Iloilo 3-4 years ago, diba? I mean,
Yes.
or I'm coming back there, so I'm starting to go around again the nation and try to see what's going on. Para hindi lang basta chart nakita natin, I want to see it from my eyes. So we one of your favorites, and I have recordings to prove this, no? And are you still bullish with Pampanga? One of your favorites was Pampanga.
Yes.
Are you still as bullish in Pampanga as you are now?
Yes. Because the Clark Airport is going to bring Philippines closer to North Asia by an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Minimum 1 hour. So yung Hong Kong flight mo na 2 hours, magiging 1 hour na lang yan. Or 1 point something hours na lang yan. And wala pang yung malaking savings doon is yung delays. Kasi di ba, naghihintay ka mag-take off sa Hong Kong. Pag take off mo, pagdating mo sa Philippine airspace, ikot ka ng ikot kasi hindi ka makababa. Pag land mo, hindi ka naman makababa ng airplane kasi naghihintay ka ng tube or whatever. And then pagbaba mo, ang haba ng pila sa immigration, haba ng pila sa bag. Pagdating mo doon, yung kotse mo, ang tagal kasi sobrang traffic. Tapos, isa-dalawang oras papuntang Makati or BGC or wherever. Ngayon, ano na yun, bababypass mo na lahat yung pag nag-land ka sa Clark. At yung mga turista from Hong Kong, ganito ang thesis statement ko is 4 lang na countries ang kailangan nating ligawan. Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, Korea. Kasi ito ang 4 countries na sobrang familiar sa Philippines. Hindi ka na kailangan mag-hard sell sa kanila. Hindi tulad ng mga China na may visa issues. Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, very easy, low-lying fruit. Ang laki ng population base nila. Ang laki ng middle class population. Sanay na sanay silang pumunta sa Philippines. And the moment hindi na sila kailangan mag-land sa NAIA at mag-land sila sa Clark. Paglabas ng Clark, 10 minutes, land on time, leave on time, land on time, no hassle with the bags, labas ka kaagad, diretso sa kotse. Paglabas ng kotse, ang ganda ng mga roads. Tapos pwede ka na mag-beach sa La Union, pwede ka na mag-Baguio, pwede ka na magpagudpod. Which is wala sa Hong Kong, which is wala sa Taiwan. Which is wala sa, okay, sa Japan, pero masyado malamig yung tubig. South Korea, masyado malamig yung tubig. Pagdating dito, ang sarap. So, pwede ka mag-surfing, pwede ka mag-gano'n. And then, pag land mo ng Clark, pwede ka mag-casino. After 1-2 days, lipad ka naman sa El Nido, sa Coron, sa Boracay. And then, balik ka. And the same with South Asia. South Asia, land in Mactan and do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, and these countries, they like the Philippines, so we don't have to sell the idea to them, no?
They're familiar, the Philippines.
Yeah, they also like our girls. Okay, so Pablo Santos is asking, no, how do you see the future of Ayala Lands, Arca South Taguig? So Arca South, what's your stand on Arca South?
I think Arca South will be the natural overflow of Manila.
Yeah, okay.
So let's say Pasay. Let's say Manila, let's say Ross Boulevard, let's say other parts of Taguig. All the wealth that's happening in these areas will find their way in Arca South. I think it's a very good residential community because people will live there and work in Makati or Bonifacio or Pasay. At pag na-complete na yung mga links, yung flyover to Skyway, yung intermodal the bus transit, that will change all of Arca South. And I think Ayala has a lot of pipeline
projects for that.
Of condominiums. And hindi na si Ayala, other developers are also building there.
Okay. And I guess it's a natural overflow, no? PGC is too crowded and too expensive. So next best thing is something that you can do that. So I think marami pa rin, I think there's a lot of Filipinos who are still now after the lifting of the sanctions, they're beginning to go back, no, to enjoy Metro Manila again. No? There was a view that they're gonna leave Metro Manila and never come back, but they're coming back. And I remember talking to you 2 years ago. You said that's temporary. People will go back to the offices. People will have to do face-to-face stuff. Is that happening now, David?
Yes, yes. I mean, dati wala ka traffic. Dati ganitong oras yung interview mo ko, walang kotse sa likod ko. Ngayon, oo. Ayala Avenue itong likod ko eh. Daming kotse.
So you're seeing that. You're seeing the return, and is it affecting prices now, rental prices and property price also, or
Yes, pa, ano
it's
eh,
counted? Yeah.
nag-increase na ulit yung rental rates ng residential condominium units and houses. And then yung office spaces, bumabalik na yung yung mga leasing activities sa office space.
Okay. So again, we have questions here. So sana hindi naman mga property sellers na nagtatanong, ano? So what are your potential opportunity of Northwind Global City by Mega World in Bulacan? Ito, Bulacan na, no? So there's some developments in Bulacan. What do you see? What do you think of that? Kasi medyo mahal na daw ngayon. Ano?
Malaki yun, malaki. I think it's a pretty big project of Mega World. And there are very few townships in Bulacan. And Mega World is doing one of the first. And I think that will do quite well. Kasi ang dami ng yumaman sa Bulacan, pero they still live in the same neighborhood and all that. And what I think, like many townships that are happening all over the Philippines, yung mga townships ito will provide infrastructure like sidewalks, like lighted streets, like power, like sewage system, sewage treatment plants, proper water supply, proper waste management systems na wala sa labas ng mga townships.
Yeah.
Security, parks,
Yeah.
malls,
Yeah.
playing,
New schools.
Yeah.
Okay. Question. What about Nuvali? Is it already peaked, or is it there's still room for area? By the way, we're agnostic with the branding here, guys. No, we just mentioned it because a lot of my friends are like, parang gusto ko bumili ng Nuvali. Is it still a good buy, or
Yeah,
assuming that one we're just investing?
Ang ganda ng New Valley. I mean, if you don't need the money, you want a land bank, yes, go buy New Valley. If you and ang dami ng schools doon, so they're really pump priming the primary homes. I mean, between primary homes and secondary homes, they really prefer primary homes para ma-build yung community. You look at West Group, ang dami nang nakatira doon na primary homes, not secondary homes sa West Group. And ang dami ng schools. So from preschool all the way to college and doon na sa New Valley. And so, I mean, when New Valley was launched or West Group was launched in 1998, it was only 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 pesos per square. Today, it's probably about 25,000, 30,000 pesos per square. New Valley was launched 9,000, 10,000, 12,000, and today it's about double that. So it's done well.
Okay. So two areas. I mean, everybody familiar about BGC. But how about yung McKinley side, the outskirt of BGC? Is it still a good prime, or parang kasi like the prices are not the same between the two?
Yes. So I mean, there's central prime, and then there's the off center. So just like Makati, you have Ayala Avenue, then you have Hilpuyat Avenue, then you have the outskirts. And I think it's just it's a practical choice. If you want more affordable housing or a different level of housing, then those things work also, and it's done well. McKinley West was launched in when was that, 2009, I think, for 70,000 pesos per square meter. Today it's almost the same as Forbes Park at 400,000.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so do you think that there's a question from Christian Marquez? Do you think that the demand for BPO offices will be affected by the rise of work from home jobs and virtual assistant jobs in the country? We talked about this 2 years ago. Is still going to be a concern now that I guess some companies are opening for work from home, but is that going to affect the BPO?
So the good news is that 98% of leases have been renewed. 98%. And this is by companies who have not used their office for 2 years and they still renewed their leases.
So
Number-
you think that they're coming back? I mean, why would they renew if that they're not gonna?
They're shifting. So before, during COVID, 90% work from home. Today, probably 50-50, going to 70-30. The BPO industry wants 50-50. We'll probably have a compromise somewhere between 50-50 and 70-30 in favor of office. The conglomerates and local companies, most of them want to be back in the office 100%. Many of my clients that are local and multinationals, the front line, they're 100% office.
Yeah, so the BPOs that needs to be settled. They settled
Yeah.
soon.
But I think over time, you will see more and more go back to the office over time. It's just some will do it faster than others.
Well, what we're seeing right now is in our observation and research, no, it's affecting productivity. So we'll see that in the next coming months, in the coming year, what's happening with that, no? Oh, good question from Ralph Noriega. How about Fortis North? I mean, it's not too big, but what do you see?
It's one of the few townships in Quezon City. So yeah, I think it's great, and it's got it will be very near the Grand Central Station that connects Rizal Avenue, Taft Avenue, Commonwealth Avenue, and EDSA by train. So it's going to be a very important location kasi magiging talagang cross convergence point for many people.
Oh, I bought a property there. Gusto ko sana ibenta, wag na muna, no? Okay, thank you. That was not my question, but I asked it, no? But good also, I asked it, no? Again, a lot of people are still watching from all different parts of the world. Also in different parts of the country, from Cavite all the way to Puerto Princesa. What's going to be the next Boracay? What do you think? Of course, Boracay is Boracay, but what's going to be your next Boracay now that I know you're a big fan of tourism?
I think actually bigger than Boracay, the entire Palawan is our answer to Phuket and Bali.
Mm-hmm.
Palawan, the entire island, will be our Bali, our Phuket. And it's a matter of just getting developers to build proper projects there. That's why I'm so happy with Leo, done by Ayala, the Leo Estates Resort town of Ayala. It's gorgeous. And it probably is the most sustainable resort development in the Philippines.
Okay, so yeah, you heard it from
Ayala's done a really good job with Leo.
Okay, wala pong bayad si Ayala kay David, no, for this session. Okay.
It's Leo.
Okay. All right. Good question though from J. Rica Fort, no? Starting as a broker, okay, going back to your early roots as a young broker from way back, I don't know, it's the 90s. What would be your where's to start now? What's going to be the best project or location to start with? It's going to be a young broker starting pala.
To be a young broker starting today, I guess BGC is the no-brainer.
Yeah. You need some also, no? You need some wins before, kasi it's not easy to be a broker. I mean, just a question, David, now what were your struggles when you were a young starting broker? I mean, before you became this David Leechiu that we all know of. What were your challenges back then? And was this in the 90s?
90s, yeah, 95. I entered the industry in 1995, and the biggest challenge is establishing credibility and competition, because there's a lot, Sa Philippines, every person and their uncle and aunt and cousin is a broker. So dalawa sa atin.
Dahil mong kalaban, no? Okay, dahil mong kalaban. All right. So again, sa areas that we're seeing. How about Mindanao? What's your in Mindanao? I mean, medyo si Mindanao versus Visayas, but
certain parts of Mindanao are doing better than others. So Davao, for example, 10 years ago, property prices in prime property there, 10,000, 8,000 pesos per square meter. The same property 12 years after is worth 100, So Davao has done really well. Again, the ore is doing really well. Zamboanga is on its way to doing well. There are other parts pa kasi because it's the food basket of the Philippines, much of the land there is agricultural, so very hard to develop. And then you've got issues on infrastructure, insurgency, security. And so that
tribal ads and stuff like that, no?
becomes an issue for development. But I think in the next 10, 15 years, that's going to change. Why? Because the political leaders of those locations are also changing. The old guard are giving way to the new blood, young blood, and hopefully more visionary, more traveled, more educated leaders.
Okay. What are your thoughts about the Manila congestion, the density, how many people still live in Manila,
Over time,
the
that will change.
difficulty of the housing and stuff?
Over time, that will change. I agree with architect Palafox. It's better to build high rises than sprawl. Because with 1,000 square meters, you can build a 50-story building. And that 50-story building will have, let's say, 1,000 units.
Yeah.
Right? You can occupy 1,000 square meters and have 1,000 units above it, or you can have 1,000 units spread across a very large landmass. So I think yung concept na condominium na tayo lahat, or most of us, and then that gives way to more parks, and you use less land. You genuinely use less land if you go up, so that you have wider roads, you have wider parks, you have bigger parks, and you impact the economy less, the ecology less.
Yeah, Singapore model. Yeah. All right. Okay. So guys, if you have any questions before we let our esteemed guest now go forward. Okay. Okay. So yon sabi, kailangan ko sabihin, no? Atram daw has funds invested in PH properties daw. Okay, yan. So they buy bonds, they buy things, they buy REITs. Okay, REITs is now considered in the fund management arena. It's still considered alternatives, but they've been putting it in the funds more and more and stuff like that. There's this view that the reason why the DD REITs are not doing well because puro pogo laman. What's happening with the pogo scene? Have they left? Are they coming back? What are your thoughts?
The POGOs relocated to other geographies within Metro Manila. So yung mga contractions, some of it dahil nag-shutdown yung operations nila dahil sinakal ng China, for example, but yung iba naman lumipat lang from, let's say, Manila Bay area to Cavite.
Okay.
So and there's still 60% to 65% of the POGO sector still here, still operating, even kahit COVID. So only 35% lang yung nawala.
But that's enough to para maramdaman mo yung rental.
Yes.
Story industry.
Sa Taguig kasi nag-isolate na sila to different geographies. So hindi gaya dati na nandito sila sa Metro Manila, nandito sila sa Bay. Ngayon nag-isolate sila. So they're occupying their own real estate. They're not renting from third parties anymore. So, but I think that's going to slowly come back. Slowly. But who knows?
Okay. I know you're bullish with the Iloilo, but how about the sister city, Bacolod? There's a new townships in Bacolod too.
Bacolod's waking up, with the new airport a few years ago, and I know there's a lot of interest in Bacolod right now because the jobs are going there, the tourists are going there. More roads are being built throughout the neighboring cities and provinces of Bacolod, and that's opening up new land for development, for tourism most especially, and ang ganda ng water doon. So I think it's going to be good over time. It's going to catch up with Iloilo.
Okay, it's coming, and I'm going there too. Okay. Not that ano. How about New Clark City in Tarlac? So, New Clark City pala is in Tarlac, no? So, how about that one? Kasi medyo, hindi na siya Pampanga, no? But it's Clark City.
I think yung natural extension ng Metro Manila is Clark. And Clark is 30,000 hectares, which is almost half of Metro Manila or Greater Manila. Metro Manila is 60,000 hectares. Clark on its own is 30,000 hectares.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. So, wish list mo for, we have a new government. What's your wish list for them? If they're gonna tap you, what would be your, 3 points for them that they should prioritize?
Tax efficiency, tax collection efficiency. Because right now we're only collecting 15, 18% of the tax that need to be paid. And alam mo naman tayo, parang we want change. We always want change. We always talk about, the political leader change for the better, but very few of us are willing to pay the taxes needed to make that happen. So it all starts with us. We have to pay the tax, even if we are not being chased by the BPR. We have to do the right thing and pay the right tax. And then the government has to increase tax collection efficiency from 15, 18% to hopefully 25, 30, 40, 50, 60%. I mean, the movement from 18% to 22, 24% will be big. It will mean, billions of tens of billions of more cash for the Philippines.
Yeah.
Second one is to protect property rights. And third is to allow more flexible terms for foreigners. Allow foreigners to have a bit more flexibility in ownership of property.
Okay, so that's good. No? Collection efficiency is so bad. If we can collect better, we don't have to tax us more. We don't have to borrow as more. Our debt to GDP is now alarming. That's going to improve a little bit on those things. So again, great insights.
And one more thing. There's one thing about the money you earn, but it's also how you spend it. And if we can manage corruption, the tax, the leakages due to corruption, which is anywhere from 30 to 50%, depending on who you ask, right? Kung mahati lang natin yun, ang laki na ng perspective of the Philippines,
Okay. So it's good, and we need to be vigilant when it comes to those things. So David, this question, some people are watching this. We have almost 200 people watching live, and a lot of people are going to be watching this afterwards. Question: if I'm a new starting, middle manager na, I'm maybe in my late 20s, early 30s, want to start a family, what would be your advice for first-time property buyers?
First-time property buyers, keep your debt low. Live cheap. Live really cheap. If you're just starting out, you're probably better off renting. Because ang mura mag-rent ngayon, lalo na for locals and local property. You don't need to rent a prime building in Bonifacio. You don't need to rent in Urdaneta Village. You can live really cheap by renting and then invest that money somewhere, like buying property that you can rent out. Kasi ang ginagawa ng marami is that, kakaasawa ko lang, kakakasal ko lang, or whatever, atat kang bumili ng property mo, tapos titirahan mo. Pag ginawa mo yun, hindi mo na maiikot yung pera mo. So, rent, and then, yung hindi mo nalagay sa home ownership mo, lagay mo sa property or lagay mo sa stocks. Basta i-invest mo sa isang asset that will generate you more cash. And then, I would suggest that you buy something that you can rent out. Kaysa yung bumili ka ng lupa na bakante na walang cash flow.
Okay. And then maybe when you have enough money, then you go buy your own house.
Then when you have built enough savings and investments, then you buy your own house. Because your own house is a luxury. It is a big expense. Sabi nga ni Robert Kiyosaki, your house is a liability. It's not an asset.
Okay. Yeah, unless your mom bought a house in Dasmariñas, that becomes your asset. Okay. So good idea, no? So thanks, shout out. Okay, so should I buy installment, pre-owned, pre-selling or RFO? What would be a better approach?
It depends. Kasi sometimes, I like RFO because I can test the unit. I know what it is. I see it. I'm not depending on a brochure. Pero yung payment terms talaga nung installments of pre-selling, very tempting eh. And sometimes if you're just going to cough out 30 to 50% of the purchase price, okay na rin to installment and pre-sell. Ang nangyari kasi pag pre-selling is that yung pera mo na ginagamit ng developer for the project. Pero nababawi mo yun kasi pag bumili ka na maaga, mag-appreciate naman yung property. Diba? So, kunyari, bumili ka ng condo ngayon, tapos delivery niya 7 years from now. Pero binabayaran mo lang naman 30% to 40% during those 7 years. Di okay yun. Kasi during that time, umaakit yung presyo ng
property.
At hindi mo pa nababayaran yung buong amount ng property. And then pag natapos yung unit, hopefully maganda, hopefully good spec, at hopefully you can borrow money to pay off the balance to the developer, and then dahil may utang ka, na-stretch mo pa yung payment terms nung 60% na yun or 70% na yun over the next 15-20 years.
Okay.
That's good. But again, if you're investing, do not live in the asset. I really would prefer that you rent first and then yung investment mo, lagay mo sa property or sa stocks at paluguin nyo doon. Dahil kung tinirahan nyo yung property nyo at yun lang yung asset nyo, masasakal kayo at hindi nyo mapapaikot yung pera nyo.
Yeah. And you have a liquidity problem also. Okay.
You have a liquidity problem.
So you can create your portfolio. You can put some in property. You can take a look at some mutual funds or stock funds. Like shout out lang, Soldivo is one of them. Atram products or whatever it is that you're taking a look at. That's something that you can consider. Basta be patient and of course have a diversified portfolio. It's always good to have a diversified portfolio. Don't put all your money in stocks or in funds or in property. It's good to have a good portfolio. This is a good question lang, no? Before I let you go, David. No? Si Charles is asking, how about the east side of Manila? No? Napabayaan na ba ito? The Rizal side?
Napabayaan talaga yan. Kasi yung access sobrang limited yung access. There are only 2 roads to access it, which is Ortigas Avenue, Marcos Highway. Ngayon, yung service road ng C6 pa lang ang nagawa. At saka yung dike, which is why yung Taguig properties doon, dahil may road na doon, yung service road nung floodway, has really improved access. Maganda yung location. But more is coming, and there will be more infrastructure projects coming. Napakamura ng lupa sa East. Napako yun for 20-30 years.
Sayang, no? I mean, it's it's closer to Manila. It's a beautiful place. Some areas are beautiful. It's colder in Antipolo, and yet napabayaan, ano?
Infra. I mean, yung C5 corner Ortigas Avenue to Antipolo Church is less than 8 kilometers. Kaya 8 kilometers na yun, it will take you 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes. I mean, my first home was in Antipolo. Grabe yung pag-usa ng traffic na yun. Minsan, pag naglakad ka, mas mabilis pa siguro eh.
Yeah. Fully it changed. I recently bought a property in Antipolo during COVID, so I hope it changes.
Yeah, it's
okay. It's it's like it's not for me. I'm buying it for my kids now. Okay, so Okay. Question of Laura. Okay, para lang basahin ko na. When it comes naman po for office rentals, which is more practical for starters, an office space na or a condo unit? I guess some people are using their condo unit as offices, no?
Ang ano kasi, ang office market, very steady. Pag
Mhm.
nakuha na ninyo yan, yung tenant nyo, most likely, patagal yan for 10 years, walang sakit ng ulo. Pero boring siya. Kasi, in contrast to condominiums, yung condominiums exciting kasi bibihisan nyo, didesign nyo, kukuha ka ng architect, ang dami nyo ginagawa. Tapos personally committed ka sa pagganda ng pag-design at pagganda, paglago ng condo unit. Pero sakit ng ulo yun pag naging landlord ka. Also, kasi bawat sira ng unit, aayusin mo eh. Unlike yung office unit, bare yun. Wala kang kailangan atupagin doon. And then, yung tenant mo mag-i-invest ng malaki to fit out and design that space to their needs. At bahala na sila doon. So, ang investment nila sa unit mo, halos katumbas ng value ng property. Pero, mabagal yung appreciation ng office capital asset values ng office space. Yung residential space, ang bilis umakyat sa selling price kasi emotional buy ang condominium.
So if you're looking for capital growth, that's your choice. But if you're looking for income, no, so commercial would be a better.
Boring, steady office ka.
Okay, so I don't mind boring, basta kumikita, no. So I guess that's a point. Okay, David. So thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time catching up with you again. You know, from time to time, we need your by the way, kudos to your research team. I've always really enjoyed your research. They're very thorough. Unlike some research I get, they're very biased. So yours is quite balanced. So over the years, I've seen your research become more polished. Okay, kung gumagastos ka na sa research mo ngayon, ano? So okay, so it's more polished. Kudos to your team for doing that, and I know a lot of your insights are part of that. So shout out to all the Leechiu, properties specialists that you have all over. No, I see your blue sign everywhere. Sabi nga nila, pag may Leechiu, sigurado mahal yan. Ano? Anyway, so they're kasi well taken care of. So again, thank you, David. This has been a wonderful time with you. Again, thank you for always doing this, and thank you for always supporting the things that I do, and congratulations to you and God bless you.
Randall, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for listening.
All right, so you heard David Leechiu, and again, we are ending another very, very helpful property update. Our monthly live stream next week, next month. Excited kami because we're gonna get somebody quite young. Okay, we're gonna be announcing it soon. We're getting one of these young financial influencers, half my age. And I found out when I was talking to him, estudyante ko rin pala siya. And then we're gonna have her, feature her also here with that. So again, my thanks to David, the team of David, for making this possible. Again, I hope that you can keep on coming back, no? These live streams are gonna be left here in my Facebook and my YouTube, so you can just continue to share it. But before I do that, some announcements again, if you don't mind. I want to announce again, really excited, no, because I'm having Randall, you're the only crazy one that doing live events now. So it's going to be on September 24. Again, it's the Unbox Success. We're going to unbox success, okay, in different patterns. We're doing a non-traditional approach, no? I mean, people always associated with mutual funds, investment stocks, but hindi lang yun ang way to be able to build wealth. No? There are many, many other ways. Not that I'm favoring one over the other. I just want you to know that there are many ways, and I'm committed to continuously teach people how to be able to do it. No, so this is going to be Unbox Success. Okay, nakita mo naman yung aming tagline, hustling crypto, hustling in a good kasi nung panahon namin nila David, hustling is not a good word, no? today it's a good word, no? Hustling, crypto, investments, and more. It's going to be at Samsung Hall in SM Aura in Taguig. It's going to be full day, 9 to 6, no? Meron kaming 2 pricing tiers, okay? So this is going to feature guys like Chase Freo, Tony Herbosa, Thea C. Bautista, myself, and of course, Carlo Ople, the digital expert, digital entrepreneur. We're going to be having that on September 26th. September 24. Watch out for the announcement kasi we're going to be, by next week, you can now start, kasi baka mauubusan kayo agad ng ticket, no? Mabilis maubos yung tickets ng events ko. So that's going to be having, again, this is brought to you by, sponsored by Atram also. You can also participate in my forum, my Facebook group called the No Nonsense Personal Finance. I think over 20,000 members there now. You can just post stuff. We make announcements there. Okay. I got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Subscribe, like. So if you have not liked my YouTube channel, I promise more content beginning next week to come out with my YouTube. There's a new show that I'm doing. I'm doing short form, long form. Somebody's doing it for me now, kaya I'm forced to do it. So I'm doing more short form content. So again, check it out on my Facebook, Instagram Reels, even TikTok. Promise no dancing on my part. Ayokong magkaroon kayo ng nightmare. But more information, more ideas coming into that. And of course, to support our sponsors, please follow them in their social media accounts. They have Atram Studio, and they have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. You can, scan the QR code so you can watch Atram Studio. Very helpful videos. I think I'm featured to 4 or 5 of those videos. You do check it out. And of course, you can join their community. They have a Viber community. So again, shout out and thank you to Atram for doing this. Now, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Again, with really looking forward to seeing you next month. Announce ko na po by next week kung sino going to be our special guest. Come back every month. We have monthly live streams. Who knows? I might do this twice a month, no? But I'm getting busy. I'm getting traveling again. But for those of you, I'll be in Singapore in October. I'll be in Jensan, Bacolod, Surigao, Iloilo, and again Dubai also before the year ends. So with that, thank you very much. God bless everyone. Bye guys.